Be ready, 5 seconds.
What is civilization? In general, the term is used for an advanced stage of human societies. To be precise, we will consider here that a civilization should have at least the following characteristics: some form of government and administration to manage a more complex society and its many activities, urbanism, the growth of cities and their management, which generally includes water management and a drainage system, a variety of crafts, including the management of raw materials and the production of finished goods, both internal and external trade to exchange all sorts of goods, some form of writing to keep records and to communicate, cultural ideas about life and the world expressed through art, architecture, literature, oral traditions, or social customs, and agriculture productive enough to feed not just the villages but also the cities. It is easy enough to see that all these characteristics are present in most societies in the world today. But when did civilization begin in the sense we have now defined? Civilization began at different times in different parts of the world. In many ways, humanity would not have reached its present stage without the enormous contributions and advances of those ancient civilizations. The vast plains of the Punjab and Sindh are watered by the Indus River and its tributaries. This made those plains fertile and therefore favorable to agriculture. A little further east, another river used to flow from the foothills of the Himalayas through Haryana, Punjab, parts of Rajasthan, and Gujarat. In this whole region, villages grew into towns, and with increasing trade and other exchanges, those towns further grew into cities. Archaeologists gave this civilization several names. Its inhabitants are called Harappans. It is one of the oldest civilizations in the world. Several sites followed in the Indus Plains, which is why the civilization was initially called Indus Valley Civilization. The larger cities were built according to precise plans. They had wide streets which were often oriented to the cardinal directions. Most cities seem to have been surrounded by fortifications and had two distinct parts: the upper town, where the local elite probably lived, and the lower town, where common people lived. Some large buildings seem to have been used for collective purposes. For instance, warehouses where goods to be transported were stored. Individual houses of various sizes lined the streets and smaller lanes. Interestingly, the quality of construction was the same for small and big houses. All those buildings were generally made of bricks. The purpose of some of the structures remains a matter of debate. This is the case of a small but elaborate tank which had waterproofing materials applied on top of bricks. What was the purpose of such a structure? Archaeologists have proposed several possible interpretations. A public bath for people, a bath for the royal family only, or a tank used for religious rituals. The first interpretation is now ruled out because it turns out that in this city most houses had individual bathrooms. They often had separate areas for bathing in their homes. These were connected to a larger network of drains which generally ran below the streets and took the waste water away. People created many of their settlements along the banks of large or small rivers. This is a logical choice, not just for easy access to water, but also for agriculture, since rivers enrich the soil around them. Archaeological findings have shown that they were the first in Eurasia to grow cotton, which they used to weave into clothes. They made farming tools, some of which continue to be used by modern day farmers. This intense agricultural activity was managed by hundreds of small rural sites or villages. Then, as now, the cities could survive only if enough agricultural produce from rural areas reached them on a daily basis. The Harappans also domesticated a number of animals for meat consumption and fished both in rivers and in the sea. This is known from the large numbers of animals and fish bones found during excavations. Their diet was quite diverse. The Harappans were engaged in active trade not only within their own civilization but with other civilizations and cultures within and outside India. They exported ornaments, timber, some objects of daily use, probably also gold and cotton, and possibly some food items. The most favored ornaments were beads of a reddish stone. People developed special techniques to drill them so a string could pass through them and to decorate them in various ways. They also worked conch shells into beautiful shell bangles. To conduct a trade, they used land routes and rivers, and the sea for more distant destinations. This is the first intensive maritime activity in India. A small settlement in Gujarat has a surprisingly huge basin measuring just a little more than that of two football grounds.